Hey team, I was talking with a battle buddy of mine who's has the opportunity to potentially go down to a company and be a first sergeant, and I was sharing with him that, and I was totally stoked for him, right? But I told him, and we go back a long ways, that as far as I can tell, there are basically two types of first sergeants, and I'm sure it doesn't just relate to only first sergeants and tops, and that it's true of every echelon of leadership, whether you are an individual leading yourself, whether you're a team chief, squad leader, platoon sergeant, commander, whatever it is, right? That, and I think the reason why, freaking bugs, it's true is because in general, and this is the danger of it, is in the military, we live off of numbers, whether it's a checklist, and checklists are great, right? You need to have checklists. Most people don't even have those anymore. They just work off their freaking memory. We live off of percentages and numbers and quantifiable data, whether we're talking about readiness metrics, going to the range, doing all of these things that we have to report up to higher about all of our training and, again, our readiness. But people get caught up into these areas, right? They drive organizations. But once those numbers become the point, we've lost the point of leadership, right? Does that make sense? Have you ever experienced that? If you have, leave some comments down below. Whether it was an individual organization, whether it was your entire experience at large, whatever it is, right? We let these numbers drive us. They become our definition of who we are and how efficient we are as teams. We get caught up into thinking that I am going to be evaluated off of these numbers. Therefore, I need to make these numbers what my senior wants to hear. If they are only willing to accept 10% risk, then I have to stay above 90% in everything, no matter what the cost is. And then everything else will maybe take care of itself because the Army goes rolling along. Well, that is a type of leadership philosophy. The other one, I think, is focused on training. It's focused on building a team. It's focusing on generating wins for that team. It's focusing on getting buy-in from every person in that team to understand that they bring value to the organization, right? This takes a little bit longer, but it gets to the same end state of being and maintaining and sustaining our readiness, right? Because if I have a team who gets that it's not all about them as an individual, but they feel value added being a part of that team, then they want to do everything they can for that team for it to succeed, right? Does that make sense? This is the struggle that I've had of watching these two types of leaders. And I'm not saying that my way is the best way or it's the only way or that it's the preferred way, but it's my way, and I try to live up to it. And what I would tell you is, if you get caught into only being concerned with metrics, you're going to lose the point of leadership, right? There's nowhere in the definition of leadership that says numbers first. Leadership would tell us that it is our job to give task and purpose to our organization so that we can accomplish those goals, even if those goals are numbers, and that we can improve our fighting position, right? But we can't lose this sense about us. I was getting ready to go to the field once, right? And I was a team chief, young NCO, and we were getting ready to go out to the field, and my battle buddy, who's actually the three of us, so my buddy who's getting ready to go be a first sergeant, and our other battle buddy and I, we were kind of those linchpins of this unit at the time, and we got told from our platoon sergeant that we had to get all AWT tasks knocked out while we were in the field. So you freaking kidding me? Like, A, it's not planned. B, we can't do this crap to standard. So we did it. You know, we brought in a bunch of checklists for all this training that was not completed, but said that we had all these sign-in rosters. And man, that platoon sergeant felt so great. Turn all the stack of training in to the commander and the first sergeant to look at all the stuff that my guys are out doing. And I hate myself for giving into that at the time. When all this was presented to the CSM, he knew it was a line of crap. He knew that there was no freaking way that we were getting after the training that was laid on that we had to do in the field anyways, and that we also did all of this AWT to standard. And so he dug into the company a little bit about training and it being valuable and it being quality, right? And I felt so good. Not that I was vindicated or whatever about my preconception, but it made me feel like there were some leadership echelons, or at least individuals, who got the point of it. It restored and retained some hope that should I ever have the privilege and the honor of being a senior NCO, that I don't have to allow these numbers and these metrics to drive who I am as an individual and as a leader, right? And so I kind of told myself then that regardless of what comes, I'm going to do everything that I can to not live that life. A few years ago, we're doing a large week with all the command teams from a brigade, and we were doing our quarterly training brief, and we had all the command teams in presence, right? All of the companies. So there's 20-ish, whatever it was, commanders and first sergeants, and our battalion was the first one to go into the chute. And my company commander and I at the time, man, I've been very fortunate to have some really good battle buddies along the way. We saw things eye to eye, man. And when we both got into the seats at the same time, we assessed that our unit had a serious issue with one of our mission essential tasks. And so we had rehearsed and assessed that we were a U at this big fat red mark. The battalion was not all that happy, but they're like, hey man, it's y'all's company. Just make sure you can brief it. And so we briefed it, and the battalion understood where we were coming from, and they bought into what we were saying as well. Had some really good battalion leadership at that time. Very blessed for that one. And so we get in and we're briefing the brigade command team, and our MET slide comes up, and my battle buddy says that we are a U at this. And once that red, that big fat red mark that everybody's afraid to see, right? Everybody's afraid to say it. The gasps, the quiet that happened all around us as we sat out there and laid out why we were a U at this particular task. and what our plan was moving forward. Now, as it turned out, that was a huge win, right? Not only were we honest with it, and that honesty was respected, that we weren't chasing NCOER bullets or OER bullets or award achievements, but we turned that into an opportunity and said, not because we knew that it wasn't just us that was bad at this Met, it was everybody. Everybody in the entire brigade sucked at it. So we saw it as an opportunity, right? Because where somebody may have a weakness, man, that is an easy win, especially if nobody's going after it. And so we dedicated the next 6 months. We were playing a long game because we knew that there was a warfighter coming up. And we wanted to be the king on this mountain for this task in order to be able to do something that the Corps had not been able to do before. And so we trained, we PMCS'd our equipment, we ordered all of our shortages, we trained some more, we got out into the field and changed the variables, we changed the conditions, and we kept getting after this one task, knowing that if we can do this, all of the other tasks will ultimately take care of themselves, right? And when that warfighter came and we were able to support the Corps in a way that had not been done before, it was a huge win, not just for us, but our battalion was boasting about it. Our brigade was boasting about it. Everybody was talking about what this company, who was once a U, who once had red, we had been able to demonstrate this huge win. All because we refused to say, I'm going to live by the metrics. I'm going to live by that 90%. I have to be in the green no matter what, even if I'm lying about it. We can do better. And I'm sure along the way, team, that I had made mistakes, that I had let some other things slip as we were focused in on this one major area. That's how life is, man. None of us are perfect, right? So I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that I was the cream of the crop, if you will, or anything like that. I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude, right? And I have no business looking out and judging what other folks are doing to a certain degree, right? So just some thoughts, team. Looking forward to hearing your comments down below about the struggles that you've had chasing numbers or being able to live with an authenticity of who you are as a leader. Because although this is an area, man, it interrelates to so much more that I think we can continue to broaden this conversation on, right? Of what it means to be a leader. Because it is not a freaking 4-point discussion. It is not do these 3 things and then you'll be all right. It's a lifetime of learning and of experiencing and of growing and challenging yourself and never being satisfied and knowing that you will never arrive, right? You never arrived. There's always room to improve. So leave me some comments down below, team, so that we can continue to master our craft and develop our tactical virtue. Man, I appreciate all you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.